Dark academia is a movement not of adoration, as it is sometimes mocked as being, but of defiance. Dark academia is a movement that is saying, hey, you want to leave me behind, but guess what? The poetry that we will discuss today has shades of that in it, and I think is perhaps what could be considered a foundational text, if not a foundational writer, for the dark academic movement. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in two different playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, now approaching 800 videos strong, but number two being the Dark Academia playlist, a playlist of videos where I am trying to make my way through some of the themes of Dark Academia. The poem in question today is The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot, and it reads as such: A penny for the old guy. We are the hollow men. We are stuffed men. Let me start over. We are the hollow men. We are the stuffed men leaning together, headpiece filled with straw. Alas, our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass or rats' feet broken over broken glass in our dry cellar. Shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow men. Eyes I dare not meet in dreams, in death's dream kingdom, these do not appear. There the eyes are sunlight on a broken column. There is a tree swinging, and voices are in the winds singing, more distant and more solemn than a fading star. Let me be no nearer in death's dream kingdom. Let me also wear such deliberate disguises: rat's coat, crow skin, crossed staves in a field, behaving as the wind behaves, no nearer. Not that final meeting in the twilight kingdom. This is the dead land. This is cactus land. Here the stone images are raised. Here they receive the supplication of a dead man's hand under the twinkle of a fading star. Is it like this in death's other kingdom, walking alone at the hour when we are trembling with tenderness, lips that would kiss from prayers to broken stone? The eyes are not here. There are no eyes here in this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms. In this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech gathered on this beach of the tumid river, sightless unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star multifoliate rose of death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty men. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act, falls the shadow. For thine is the kingdom between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response falls the shadow. Life is very long. Between the desire and the spasm, between the potency and the existence, between the essence and the descent, falls the shadow. For thine is the kingdom, for thine is life, for thine is thee. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. This poem, The Hollow Men, this is the way the world ends, not with a bang but a whimper. I think that this is sort of emblematic of the dark academic movement because a lot of this first stanza here, I want to read this one more time. We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw. Alas, our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass, or rat's feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. Shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow men. I think this is a criticism that sometimes comes to the dark academic movement, if there is a criticism of the dark academic movement, surely there is, that it is an aesthetic, not an ascetic. It is about looks, not about actions. I do not think that that is true. I think that much of the movement is, in fact, by people who have been considered or have considered themselves these hollow men and women. That, I think, is why the aesthetic is so important. This dressing in preppish clothes without the preparatory school. This is, I think, a dark academic as being someone who has been abandoned but refuses to be left behind. You can shut me out. You can tell me I don't belong at your Harvard. You can tell me I don't belong at your Notre Dame. You can tell me I do not deserve your fancy education. I will rip and grip and get it myself. One thing that I have a bit of a hesitation towards dark academia because of is the refusal of technology, AI particularly. Because I think that at the core of this movement is that vinegar of saying, you can leave, you can abandon me, I will not be left behind. AI is ultimately one of the things by which we can claw our way up into their stratosphere. I think that it is, dark academia, a movement not of adoration, because I think that it could be very easily misconstrued. You dress like people because you want to be those people. I do not think it is that. I do not think that it is the adoration. I do not think that the clothes themselves are hollow. I think that what it is adoration for the culture that I don't think that it is adoration for the culture that would not have us, but a rebellion and a defiance saying, you don't get to say what I wear. You don't get to say what I can read. You don't get to say the intellectualism that I am allowed into. You don't get to say that I don't get to participate. I get to be whoever it is that I want to be. I get to participate in whatever it is that I want to participate. The dark academic is not the academic. The dark academic is the academic with a chip on his or her shoulder. I think that is the type of vitriol that we get in this poem at the beginning here. This slow realization that maybe I am not where I thought I was. Because wearing the skin suit, right, of the elite, the way that dark academia does, is the same thing as in the American Civil War, Yankee Doodle was played to mock the Americans. And when the Americans started winning battles, they played Yankee Doodle to say, hey, yeah, go ahead, right? Is the same way that Cultures will reclaim things that were once used to be abrasive towards them. The dark academic aesthetic is claimed because that type of dress code, the keys to that type of education, have so often been used against us. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper, as people become afraid to act, as people who are in these Ivy League elite schools become watered down. The dark academics do not. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.